Our very special guest, professional fighter, actor, professional everything, badass, and that's Roddy Piper.
Thank you very much.
Welcome to the show.
You know, bagpipes, that'll either make you want to make love or fight, I'll tell you those things. I'm honored to be here. I really am. I'm amongst a bunch of, Twinkle Toes here. Great athlete. And yourself, Gorgeous George. Do you know the original Gorgeous George? His name was George Wagner, and he was an amateur wrestler. And then in the Olympic Auditorium in L.A., he became as you know him. So at one time he decided to go into the turkey business. So he got a bunch of turkeys and he sprayed them all purple, and he killed all his turkeys. Yeah. So anytime, you know, if he gets too smart with the Gorgeous George, you just lay the turkeys on him, man.
I usually eat the turkeys.
Well, he had a lot of turkey to eat after that. Just had purple teeth.
Well, I'll tell you what, we've been talking about this all weekend, and it's a pleasure, it's an honor to have you here with us.
Thank you very much.
And, of course, you're in town for Tony and Tina's wedding at Planet Hollywood.
Yes, I am.
So, want to talk about that first of all. Acting, is that something that you obviously want to continue doing, because we've seen we've seen you in some other films?
Yeah, Tony and Tina's wedding, they didn't tell me anything about it. They threw me into it last Friday. Friday before, excuse me. And it's one of those kind of improv, as long as you stay within the story. And they have a wonderful cast over there. Ladies that have been there 7 years, 5, a couple of gentlemen 3-4 years. And so they basically, guided me around the show. And they have one particular, I don't want to ruin the show, but they have one particular spot where this really nice lady, you know, gets knocked down on the floor. And the first night, I thought, you know, oh my goodness! And I ran over. She says, "Sit down now. You're going to ruin it." You know. Oh, sorry. It was part of the show. You know, I was being my best Boy Scout.
And it's the longest show off Broadway since 1998. We've previous celebrity guests, Halle Berry. Some that are forthcoming after your stint will be Barry Williams and Tiffany, the singer.
You know, it's becoming kind of like a vogue thing to go and do. For me. I was hoping just to come to Vegas, do the show, train, get ready for WrestleMania, and sleep. None of those things have happened. You know, the first thing that has to happen in Las Vegas is prohibition. You've got to have prohibition in this town.
Wow.
Oh, man.
I don't know if that'll go over too well.
No, not with anybody else, but it'll save my life, you know. You see, you go down, and there's such nice people. You go down there, and you know, some guys with Jägermeisters or whatever you call them, and then it becomes a testosterone thing there, where well, you can't drink with me, you're not good, I'm not good enough. I didn't say that. Mm-hmm. And then they, you know,
people actually say that to you, huh? Wow.
Oh yeah. You'd be surprised when guys get alcohol in them what they'll say. Yeah. No, I never challenged Betty Crocker to a cake baking contest. Why would they challenge you guys? Had 7,000 pro fights. I don't know.
Yeah, 38.
Jägermeister.
38.
I do know.
It's a hell of a drug. 38. 38 titles, 7,000 wins. Is it that 7,000 wins?
No,
7,000 matches.
No, it's over 7,000 matches, not wins. Good Lord, when I was fighting Andre the Giant, I was running for my life. You know?
Is he the biggest, strongest wrestler that was that you ever competed against?
Yeah, I think so. I'll tell you one time, Andre the Giant, I'd only seen him angry twice. And one time there was these college kids. I don't know what their problem was, but Andre was at the bar drinking, and these college kids are yelling at him and screaming at him. And, you know, they were, I don't know if they're football players or what they were. And finally they left the bar, and one of them flicked like a piece of paper and hit Andre in the back. And they went and they got in their car. And Andre, whoa, he come out to the car, and I kid you not, he got the side underneath that car, and he gave it a one and started bouncing, and he tipped that car right over on its side.
Oh my God!
There's 4 college kids calling the police saying, "A giant just came and turned our car over." Yeah, all right. So they went to jail. The other one I saw with Andre, I mean, he was unbelievable. He was a wonderful man, but
Well, just to be clear, was it like a Chevette or a?
No. It was a Lincoln Mark IV.
Pretty impressive, actually.
Lincoln
Mark IV.
You got to remember, this is like 1973. I mean, there were no Yugos. This is all big cars.
Yeah, this is a big car.
And you turn over a two-door Cadillac that was 55 feet long.
And then there was one where Andre was in a bar and he had his shirt. He had same pants, same shirt, all the time. And he had
That's right, I forgot about that.
Yeah, and same cowboy boots. And so he's at the bar and he's drinking and his shirt's open, and so the bartender, I guess sometimes, catch a bit of an attitude and they say, hey, you got to do up your shirt. And Andre just, and so they call the cops. Excuse me, sometimes only I find these funny. So they call the cops, and the cops talk to the bartender, and so they go over to Andre. They said, excuse me. And Andre stands up to whatever, 7'6", and the one cop looks at the other and he says, it is a little hot in here. It's a true story. Yeah, Andre, man, oh man, he didn't even know how strong he was.
Well, with my little stint on TNA, and hopefully they'll bring me back. I'm hanging out with, I got in because of Kurt Angle.
Okay.
I've been friends for a long time. Of course, I'm hanging out with Sting and Kevin Nash because they're the guys I grew up with watching.
Sure.
And I'm with Kevin, and Kevin's a wine punk. He's a guy that loves wine. He understands the flavors, how it's made, the backlashes, the acid, the whole thing.
Yeah.
I'm just a guy that likes wine. So the first night I'm there, all of a sudden we're drinking, and I'm just having one glass at a time. Kevin's like, come over here, come over and drink with me a little bit. I'm like, all right, and everyone in the room kind of stopped. I'm like, is that not because the hierarchy that goes on? I'm the newest guy on the block, and all of a sudden I'm sitting with Kevin Nash. It's a big deal.
Yeah,
but I didn't realize at the time. So next thing, 4 bottles later. Like, dude, I gotta go to bed, man. I'm done. He goes, what do you mean you're done? This is a light night. We're only doing 2 more bottles. I'm like, a light night? So I went in with the hangover. Had to have him explain to me. He's like, since guys have, with the deaths and the actions of Chris Benoit and all that stuff, the guys have really started checking themselves that were happening. And a lot of the guys, like your heyday, you guys were partying harder than rock stars, but getting hit in the head for a living.
Yeah.
Have you seen the effect, not only in yourself, but in the other wrestlers? And have you guys, like Aerosmith used to say for a long time, they calmed down, but they really hadn't calmed down yet. But they're telling everybody they were. A lot of guys now are saying they backed off. They pulled away from that drinking and partying all night. Have you seen that change in pro wrestling now?
I have, especially after Chris. Chris was my brother. I loved Chris to death, man. And I don't know if this is common knowledge, but Chris's father donated Chris's brain to science. And they took a look at it, and it had holes in it. And there's a depression that comes apparently just to professional wrestlers because we don't know how many concussions you're getting every time you're hitting the mat or, you get thrown out or whatever may be happening.
The chair shots, man.
Chair shots, when the chair bends, you can kind of figure it has a little velocity to it there. Mm-hmm. And so once we found out that there was a special problem that we have because like with MMA, you get in there, you rough, tough guys, man, and then you don't fight for another 3 months or 4 months, whatever it may be, and they're correct in taking care of the guys. With us, especially at that time, it was very unorganized, and we would roll. I went like 90 days in a row, nonstop. Wow. And so you tried to keep yourself out of trouble, and it's just what you call a coping mechanism, I guess. So the answer to your question, though, is the guys that they have now. They've, Vince McMahon has recognized that it's not good for anybody. It's not good for the company. It's not good for anybody at all. And so Jim Duggan, I love Jim Duggan. Jim Duggan tells me a story. Hacksaw used to be. I'd be standing at the curtain. I never liked to go out until I heard the bagpipes. I was a little shy, and I'd wait and I'd hear bagpipes, and Jim Duggan would come out. Stark naked, he'd be in the shower and he'd have soap all over, and he'd come out, and he'd grab me and go, soap monster, and then he'd push me through the curtains, I got bubbles and stuff, and the people are saying, boy, that piper really warmed up for this one. It's just, but he was telling me he was in Germany and he's down on the bar, and there he is, and there's all these good-looking women. He says, where's the boys? Jeepers creepers. And so he says they must be having a big party. So he goes up, and there's all these young guys, and they're playing air guitar in their room. Okay, then.
Yeah,
so I would say, things have changed a lot. Or they get a room where we used to open the doors in the middle. They just run a wire under it and play some game where they, I don't know what it is. They shoot at each other or something. So, there's been a big change that way, and I'm happy for them. I wouldn't want anybody to go through that.
You know, it's been kind of.